Motivation, or I'll say the lack thereof, seems to have plagued recruiting to a degree this year. I can't say it's across industries, but certainly it's been an issue where candidates simply aren't seemingly motivated to what? Apply quickly, respond. They've ghosted recruiters at a rampant pace. The DMs from LinkedIn have gone ignored. What's going on there? And more importantly, how at all could recruiters rectify that situation in the coming year?
Yeah, well, a bit of history. As you know, I came from a larger firm when I was in a leadership capacity there. And, you know, for years, the bigger firms had great advantage over the smaller firms because they had the capability, they had brand name, and they had technology. Well, with the advent of social media and LinkedIn, and the fact that with the internet being as it is, you can find out just about anything from anybody. And on the recruiter side, recruiters know that a smart candidate, an informed candidate, will recognize that more and more of the most critical recruitments are going to smaller firms. Now, some things smaller firms can't do, you know. We're not equipped to handle certain types of searches. So a search I did for a worldwide bank years ago, where I was looking on 3 continents, we could do that, but there's better firms to do that than us. And that's the global firms, okay? So, but when you come to domestic kinds of searches, I think smart candidates know who's playing in that pond, and it's almost every firm. And it used to be that firms were much more local. Well, I can tell you, just looking at our practice, even though I'm based in Atlanta, and we have people in other places, I would tell you that over 80% of our searches in any given year are not Southeastern based. So you can't just look at where somebody is based. And the other firms are in practice groups and so forth, and that's all come in the last few years. So when recruiters get ghosted, and I'm just giving you an opinion, I don't know the answer to your question specifically, but it's either because there's probably 2 fundamental reasons. One, they've been mistreated by recruiters in the past, so they don't feel any reason to compel, even though they're compelled to respond, even though they say that they will. Okay, but I'm going to tell you a funny sidelight to this in a second. But secondly, it's because they have other options, okay, or they're waiting for something else to happen where they are. But I can tell you recruiters have a long memory, at least in my kind of work. It may not be a long memory for the others. I can't speak for them. But I can speak about something that happened in our practice. So I'll just share this with you. We went back and we looked at every engagement that we received since 2007. Now, you know, we're working at the top of the house. So those people generally know who plays in that pond and who doesn't. We're not the only ones. We know that as well. We have plenty of competitors. But we looked back at it and we found that when we wrote proposals, we rarely won. When we went to the beauty contests among search firms, we rarely won, if at all. So we decided we weren't going to do that. And we've had record years every year, and we will have this year as well. Thank goodness for that. We're very thankful and of high gratitude to our clients who keep coming back to us. But we found when we look back at who gave us the lead to go into that particular situation, we found that over 20% came from unsuccessful candidates who got to know us during the process and thought how well we handled them with transparency, with candor, with the feedback that they would expect, as any human being would expect from somebody giving their time into a situation. Now, some did not want to proceed and so forth, but I can tell you we're doing a CEO search in the packaging industry, president search in the packaging industry right now that comes from an unsuccessful candidate. I can tell you we're doing a CFO search for a private equity firm that comes from the CEO of that company, of that operating company, was an unsuccessful board candidate. So I think ghosting is not a good idea. I think I think I'd be candid with the recruiters to say it's not for me. Please give me a call back. And if they don't, I wouldn't use them again. The frustration is that people who are in between roles, they tend to get ghosted by the recruiting firms. They don't get a response. Well, I'll call you back. You should visit with the client. And that's the last they hear of it. Or if they visit with the client, they don't even get a no for a while, or even a yes. And, but then those folks who are being recruited do join companies. They get repotted in another executive role. And who do they go back to? The same people who mistreated them. So that's always been kind of shocking to me. So the ghosting goes either way.